regardless of where people think or how they feel, that they need to consider, because this, to you, does this feel like a reality that we are going to enter into this time where that patient relationship with the doctor is going to be even more torn apart?
I mean, they're doing it right now. They're dissolving choice. We're supposed to be a free country. Like, this is what I fought for. And now I'm on U.S. soil and I'm sitting here fighting for what I already fought for, I thought. So what is it? And a lot of people will look at this and be like, yeah, that's just New York. It's not just New York. Since my video went out, there have been people from all over every single state and the globe. I'm getting, this is not just New York. This is everywhere. And the problem is a lot of these governors, maybe your governor, they're looking at these New York numbers very blindly, and they're refusing to look outside the bubble. And they're calling, these New York deaths, that, oh my God, this is so, these deaths are, because of COVID. No, it's because of the treatment and the gross negligence. And they need to be able to recognize that when they're adjusting these mandates, such as the masks and the contact tracing and, the positive cases, if you look for it, you're gonna find it. And it's important to recognize that.
I thought it was very interesting. I had a conversation with our governor's press secretary this week, and I asked some really hard questions about COVID hospitalizations and COVID deaths. And what I learned is that someone can be in the hospital treated primarily for something else. And if they render a positive test result, which the tests are mandated in a lot of these hospitals, they are counted as a COVID hospitalization. The other example I give is if I go walk into the street tonight and I get hit by a bus, and during the postmortem, there's COVID found in my system, that's counted as a COVID death. And so that is the CDC guideline. And I guess that's the thing, when I first looked at your video, I thought, how in the world? But when you look at the definitions that the CDC puts forward, it's plausible that somebody who died on a vent that doesn't have COVID in their system, or they died on a vent and they eventually have some trace of COVID because they were on the floor, these are all counted as deaths. And what you're saying is we really have to dig into those numbers because those totals are misleading. That's stunning.
And how accurate are the tests? We don't know. So are these positives really positive? We don't know. And there's so many different variables, and to be shutting down the entire country, the entire economy, putting business owners out of work, they're filing bankruptcy. There's people that are severely depressed. There's suicide rates up. I mean, it is literally hurting so many people. Mm-hmm. And it just blows my mind that none of these people in charge and calling out these orders have ever set foot in one of these hospitals. So who are the experts? Them or people that were actually in there and telling everybody what is going on? I mean, the real experts are the people that were actually on the front lines and are reporting, speaking out, screaming out, sounding the alarm that please somebody just look at what is really going on and then reevaluate, because what they're doing to our economy is going to last. I don't know. It can't be a new normal, because there's nothing normal about this.
It reminds me, I read some discovery from a medical journal that said during the first SARS epidemic or pandemic in, I believe it was Canada, mm-hmm. they studied people who had been locked down for 2 weeks and found a 35% increase in the incidence of depression and PTSD. Mm-hmm. In Ohio, we're 105 days into some sort of, deferred living, if you will. Now, the total lockout is not there for most people, unless, of course, you're in a hospital or a nursing home, and that accounts for a lot of people still. We also know from the 2008 financial crisis that a 1% increase in unemployment resulted in a 1% increase in suicides in males. So these are real, like you said, real secondary effects of this virus. Let me ask you something, and I know this is kind of off the cuff. Florida's been in the news a lot lately. If you read headlines, if you watch the scrolling banner on a lot of TV stations, you see, hey, cases are up, cases are up. What are you seeing in Florida? Can you bring some context to what we're reading about? There's a drastic increase in the number of positive tests. What are you seeing there?
I am seeing a minimum of 30,000 tests being done a day. Per our governor, that's what he stated. Everybody's getting tested, right? And if you're going to look for it, you're going to find it. Now, these people are not sick. My hospital is busy, just like any other, day before this pandemic. We reopened our elective surgeries. People are, unafraid now they're coming out of their homes and getting treated for things that they put off for, 2 months. So we're not seeing these people coming in with COVID and dying.